Ralph Waldo Emerson was born on May 25, 1803, in Boston, Massachusetts, into a family of ministers. His father, William Emerson, was a prominent Unitarian minister, but he died when Ralph was just 8 years old. This left the family in financial difficulty, and Emerson's mother, Ruth Haskins Emerson, along with his aunt, Mary Moody Emerson, played a significant role in his upbringing. Mary, an intellectual and deeply religious woman, influenced Emerson's early thinking. At the age of 14, Emerson enters Harvard College in 1817. He was not an exceptional student but excelled in rhetoric and poetry. While at Harvard, he worked as a teacher to support himself and later attended Harvard Divinity schools to prepare for a career in ministry. And following the family traditions, early careers and personal struggles. After graduations in 1821, Emerson briefly worked as a school teacher before becoming a Unitarian minister. In 1829, he was appointed as a pastor at Boston's Second Church and was well respected for his sermon. However, his view on religion began to shift. He started questioning traditional Christian doctrine, particularly the practice of the communion. These doubts led him to resign from his ministry in 1832, stating that he could no longer, in good conscience, and continue his duties. During this period, Emerson also faced personal tragedy. His first wife, Aloysia Tucker, whom he married in 1829, died of tuberculosis in 1831, just 2 years into their marriage. Her death deeply affected him, leading to periods of intense self-reflection, seeking clarity. He traveled to Europe in 1833, where he met influential thinkers such as Thomas Carlyle, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and William Wordsworth. These encounters helped shape his philosophical outlook, particularly his belief in self-reliance and individualism. Rise of Transcendentalism. Returning to the United States in 1833, Emerson settled in Concord, Massachusetts, where he became the leader of the Transcendentalist movement. He began delivering lectures, gaining attention for his ideas about self-reliance, nature, and spiritualities. In 1836, he published Nature, a groundbreaking essay that laid the foundation for Transcendentalism. In it, he argued that individuals could achieve spiritual enlightenment by connecting with nature rather than following organized religion. His work profoundly influenced American thought and inspired writers like Henry David. In 1837, he delivered his famous lectures, American Scholars, at Harvard, calling for American intellectuals' independence from European influences. He urged scholars to trust their own experiences rather than relying on established traditions. This speech was later called America's Intellectuals' Declarations of Independence. In 1841, he published Essay First Series, which included his most famous essay, Self-Reliance. This essay emphasized the importance of individuals' intuitions, non-conformity, and inner strength, making it one of the most influential works in American literature. Peak of influence or personal growth. During the 1840s, Emerson continued writing, lecturing, and mentoring young intellectuals, including Henry David, who lived in a cabin on Emerson's land at Walden's Pond. He also became friend with the Margaret Fuller and others key figure of the Transcendentalist movement. However, this period also brought personal loss. In 1842, his young son Waldo died of the scarlet fevers at the age of 5. His tragedy deeply affected Emerson, leading him to write Threnody, a poem expressing his grief. Despite his loss, he remained committed to his philosophical ideals and continued to advocate for personal growth and spiritual awakening. His second major collection essay, second series including The Poet, in which he described the role of poets in revealing universal truth and experience, where he reflected on how suffering and hardship shape human understanding. Emerson also became involved in social and political issues, particularly abolitionism, while he initially avoided public activism. By the 1850s, he spoke out strongly against slavery, delivering speeches against the Fugitive Slave Act, calling for the abolition of slavery in America. During the Civil War, Emerson supported Presidents Abraham Lincoln and the Union cause. After the war, he continued lecturing but began experiencing memory loss in the 1870. In 1872, his house in Concord caught fires, and while the town residents have rebuilt it, Emerson's health declined. He made his final trip to Europe and Egypt to search for rest and inspirations. Upon returning, he gradually withdrew from public life. Emerson passed away on April 27, 1882, at the age of 78, and was buried in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery in Concord, Massachusetts.